Greetings, this is Jim Lindsay. This is a briefing on the CIS 141 Enhanced PowerPoint Presentation Project. This is for my classes, my CIS 141 classes, and so this should be a follow-up to the presentation skills lesson that talks about the importance of presentation skills. It also talks about technology's role, and then it talks about giving you specific pointers on how to improve your presentation skills. This is a hands-on opportunity to adopt something called the Zen philosophy, which is presented in that particular lesson. So watch the presentation skills lesson first, then come here and see the hands-on project, which we'll be talking about for the next several minutes. With this presentation, with this project, what you do, you take your basic PowerPoint presentation and you redo it in a Zen style, in a Zen philosophy. And what does that mean? Well, as you learned about from the presentation skills lesson, the Zen philosophy is where you have minimal text. You're basically trying to create a very visual, image-based presentation that supports whatever ideas you're trying to convey to your audience. And so in your basic PowerPoint presentation, you created some sort of slide deck or presentation about something you like. It may have been your hobbies, it may be a business that you're involved in, it may be an organization that you're a part of, but there's some organization thing that you already have expressed interest in. What I want you to do is take that 10 slides and improve it. And how are you going to improve it? Well, you're going to do the following. Basically, you're going to take any kind of words that you have on your slides and put those down into something we call speaker notes. Can you have any words at all on a slide? Well, yes, but very minimal. The absolute minimum amount of text on this slide as you can get by with. So you're going to be creating slides with speaker notes. We're going to talk about that in just a moment. I'm also going to talk to you about this whole philosophy of handouts. Like if you are going to give a presentation to an audience, do you want to provide them with some sort of handout from your PowerPoint presentation? And you can do that in a number of ways. And there are different schools of thought on it, and we'll talk about those in just a minute. But you're going to take your words, move those down into the speaker notes. Once that's done, you're going to then take advantage of transition timers. You're going to go into the presentation itself and have it transition automatically from one slide to the next every 20 seconds. And I'll show you the mechanism for doing that in just a minute, but this kind of goes along with that whole Picha Kucha movement that we discussed also in that presentation skills lesson. You may have seen TED Talks. They're kind of based on this whole timing thing as well, where a speaker starts to talk about something and behind them are images that support it, and then about every 20 seconds the slide changes to another image, and it just keeps, it's on a timer, and so they don't have to do anything to change it, but they do need to have their presentation rehearsed to the point that as it gets to that 20 seconds, they can be segueing into something that is supported by the next image. And so we want to show you how to do that. In the Picha Kucha presentation style, they use 20 images in 20 seconds. So their total presentation is 6 minutes and 40 seconds. Because yours is only 10 slides, it's going to be 3 minutes and 20 seconds total if we were to play it out. So we're going to do that. When you're done with this, you'll upload your presentation to the Blackboard site, to the appropriate link on the Blackboard site. Now, I may use this video this summer, and so my summer students, if you're watching this and you see this March 20th deadline, don't freak out. Submit it by the appropriate date for the summer. But all the content, despite this due date may change. All the content is still good in the summer. Okay, here are some links, some helpful links for you. Seth Godin and Gar Reynolds are two well-recognized speakers. They're very good. They've had a lot of influence in the speaking world, and we have links here to. Let me pull up the browser so you can see, for example, these different web pages talking about ways to create Zen presentations, why you would want to create Zen presentations, really cool examples of Zen presentations, the Pichakucha site itself. So, these links are available for you at the bottom of the homework instructions. So hopefully you see what you're going to do and why you're going to do it. Now we'll go into a little bit more detail of of exactly how to do it. But this is what we want to do. This is what we want to achieve with this particular presentation. So let's talk about speaker notes. And to do this, I have a presentation that I created for a class that I've taught before. This was a lesson over a disaster recovery team. Like if you worked at a company as the information technology professional, you would want to have disaster recovery strategies in place, and part of that strategy is you have to have a team of people working together to make sure that all of this stuff happens at the right time, at the right place. It's very complicated, and so this presentation was in support of the whole lesson, just of picking your team, who's going to be on your team. And you can see this is a PowerPoint presentation as I scroll through there, and you can download this presentation from the Blackboard site, but you'll see that this is in the Zen style. There are primarily images here, and in addition to the images you see here, there are things called speaker notes. I'll push that up to where this is text that somebody could put on a screen, but to me, I really like the Zen philosophy, and so I don't try to put stuff on the screen. Instead, what I'd rather do is have these images up here which are interesting, and then these notes down here are things that I can look at in my notes as I give a presentation, and then explain why guys from the Reds or from the Chicago Bulls or from the A team, why they were why they made great teams, and so in this one there's an incorporation of video here. There's like a link to a YouTube video and so on. This is a Zen sort of presentation. Now, are there some words? Yes. At some point you can use some words, but I want to use this for you as an example of a Zen type of presentation, as well as something that has speaker notes. Now, if I printed this out, let me show you what this looks like if I print out the speaker notes. It looks like this. So on each page, there's going to be the slide at the top, and I'll get down to a slide where there's some speaker notes. And then down here, this is stuff that I would have at the podium with me, and my audience obviously is not going to see this, but I will see these speaker notes, and I can, as I address the audience, talk about all these different aspects of teams that I think are important, and all they're going to see is this picture on the slide, and hopefully it's going to help keep their attention and support support the ideas I'm trying to communicate to them. So that's what a speaker note is. And how do you get it there? Real easy. Let's go to a slide where there's no speaker note. Go to this agenda. You just click down in here, and you just type, this is a speaker note. And whatever you put down here, you can put in bullet comments, you can put in regular text, you can copy and paste stuff. So if you wanted this stuff to be down in the speaker notes, you could actually take all that, copy it, put it down here, and you could paste it down there, and then you'd have that stuff down in the speaker notes. So as you do your presentation for the Enhanced PowerPoint Presentation Project, take your basic presentation. If there are words up here that you want to include in the speaker notes, just copy them and paste them down here, then come up here and get rid of the words and find supporting images. Real easy to do. Now, if you wanted to print this out as a speaker note, how would you do that? It's very easy. You go to the backstage, and that's basically when you click on this file tab on the ribbon. This is called the backstage. And so on the backstage, if you go to print, you're going to see, well, what do you want to print? On this little drop down box right here, you can click on here and it'll say I would like notes, my speaker notes, and then you can see these are the speaker notes I showed you just a moment ago. If you wanted a handout that you could give to your audience, I'm just going to cover that now. I'm going to click also on this button right here where it said instead of a note page, by default it wants to do a full page of a slide, and to me those aren't really very useful. I don't know why people would want those, but instead of that, under handouts you'll see that there are different types of handouts that you could do, and I'm sure you've seen these where people will give you, like, for example, 3 slides, and then you can take your notes out here to the right or underneath the pictures. Some people learn really well that way. If they have the presentation in advance, they print out these handouts and they take their notes out over here, and then these pictures make really good mental anchors for them, and so they can recall stuff pretty well from the presentation. So how do you get a handout produced? From the file menu. Again, this is called the backstage. You go to print, and then instead of a full page slide, which is what it does, it's normal behavior, it's default behavior, we're going to change that to some sort of handout. You can do that like a 6-page handout. You'll see there's horizontal and vertical, and the horizontal, the presentation goes like that, horizontally. Vertical, it goes vertically like that, and so on. You can also change from color to black and white. If you're using a laser printer or you're trying to save the ink on your inkjet printer, that going to pure black and white saves you a lot of money, because those color cartridges are expensive, and the black is not quite as much. So I'll go back to my presentation, but that is a speaker note down here, and we've also talked about handouts. The note I'd like to make on handouts: some people really support handouts. I think it's great, and unless there's something I'm trying to surprise you with in a presentation, I'll typically make the presentation slides available to you in advance. From time to time there are things in there I want to surprise you with, and so I'll hold it back. But there are other people that like to not give you any slides at all and just make you take manual notes, and that's their style. They prefer to teach that way, or cover, give a presentation in that fashion. So figure out what sort of philosophy suits your presentation style best, and then you now know how to make speaker notes as well as handouts. And so that's some information for you. Now, in the instructions here, it also says use the slide transition timer to make it so you can go from one slide to the next automatically. And let's talk about how to do that. Well, over here in the presentation, first of all, there are transitions, and you've seen this. So I'm going to put a transition, a uniform transition on all my slides. How do I do that? Well, very easily. I'm going to select the first slide. I'm going to hold down Shift, so all my slides are selected, and I'll use something like this wipe transition. So basically, it's going to look like you wiped from right to left as on the screen. So if we showed that presentation, it would look like that. There's that presentation, and I click the mouse and does the presentation. That's the wipe transition. Great. In addition to, so let me select everything again. So in addition to, we go back to the transition, the slide transition tab up here. In addition to applying a transition to my presentation, I also have an area where I can put timing in here. And so you'll see the normal behavior, the default behavior, is to do it off of a mouse click. Well, I'm going to uncheck that and check this one that says after. And in your homework, you're supposed to make this up to 20 seconds. So basically make that 20 seconds. And so what would happen is, as you start your presentation, after 20 seconds, it's going to automatically advance to the next slide using that particular slide transition. I'm going to make mine much shorter for this demonstration. I'm just going to make it 2. Okay? Now the reason I'm doing it to 2 is just to show you in your homework you need to make that 20. Okay, but let me go to the slideshow now. Start it from the beginning. You see, we'll count to 1,000, 2,000, and it's not doing it. What I do wrong? Okay, I'm back. I'd been in my preparation for this. I'd put like different slide transition times in here. So basically, I had like some different times in here. That was it was up higher than 2 on the first slide. So let me re-show that. So I've got my first slide selected down to my bottom slide on the slide transitions tab over here in the timing area. You know, if you have the on mouse click checkbox, uncheck it down here. Check that box for after and then put in the time you want. In this case, I want 2 seconds. You're going to want 20. So I've got that in place. That looks good. Now I'll go back to my slideshow, and if you watch this from the beginning, I'm not doing anything to the mouse, and it's automatically every 2 seconds it's transitioning to the next slide. And so that's the slide transition timing that we were talking about. Okay, and that's talked about right in here. All right, so you know what to do. You take your 10 slides, you move your text to the speaker notes, you find appropriate images, and we can talk about that for just a second. We do the transitions, and then you upload it to Blackboard using the appropriate link on the Blackboard website. As far as pictures go, use good pictures. Let me go back to PowerPoint, and you can get your pictures from a number of different places. I'm sure you know how to download images from Google or from Bing. You know, if I'm in, for example, let me just go to Google, for example, and let's say I want a picture of an apple, and I can go to Google Images. It's going to give me lots and lots of pictures of apples, so I can go and find one of these that I want. Let's say I want that one, and then I can view the image and then right click it, save the picture. I'm using Internet Explorer. I can save picture as, and it's going to save that picture for me. If I was in Firefox, I believe I would say save target as or save image as. But that's how you can get pictures from places like Google or Bing. You also, within PowerPoint itself, have the ability to, let's go to a slide like this one. Let's say we wanted to insert our own picture. Put a picture. These are pictures that are on my hard drive here. I could put a picture of a raccoon, because that's something that's stored on my hard drive. So there you go. So there's a picture of a raccoon. I'll get rid of that. I could insert an online picture, and you've done this through your SAM projects, but you can search through Bing Images or through OneDrive. So let's say in this case I want a banana. Let it go out and do a search. Let's say I want that picture of a banana. I select it, hit insert, and it downloads that picture for me and puts it into the presentation. And these are good pictures. I mean, you want nice big pictures like this. You want a picture that's big enough that you have to then take it and resize it and make it smaller. You don't want a picture that starts off like this big and then you have to stretch it to fit on your presentation, because what happens when you do that, when you take a little bitty picture and you stretch it to be big, it pixelates, because these graphics for the most part are going to be what are called raster graphics. They're bitmaps, they're pings, they're JPEGs, they're GIFs, and they're created by pixels. And so if you take a small one and you make it bigger, the computer ends up making a picture with a jagged edge or a pixelated edge, and that's ugly. There are so many really rich graphics out there, like we just pulled from, you know, this banana picture that was, you know, the size of the whole slide. That's a really big picture. So you know, let's say you're talking about something that has to do with bananas. Well, get a great picture of a banana and put it out there. That's what you want. So in your pictures that you put into your presentation, make them really good pictures. And one last note on this, and then we'll be done. When you have these great pictures, your file can be huge. Your PowerPoint presentation can be massive. And so what happens is when you go to save it, I'm just going to go to File, save as, and I'll put this on my desktop. I'm going to call this Gym. So let's say I put this Gym PPTX file on my desktop. Because it has all these pictures, this could be a really big file. Well, and I've seen this with like the basic PowerPoint presentation. I've seen this with other homework assignments when people want to say, hey, you know, Mr. Lindsay, would you take a look at this for me? They try and send me a presentation. Well, they can't because I'm not sure how big this one's going to be. Let's take a look at it. This file right here is 6.22 megabytes. So that this one would probably email, but you know, I've had people try to send me PowerPoint presentations that are 50 megabytes large because they have a bunch of really great pictures in there. Well, how do you get this sort of, you know, huge PowerPoint presentation to you know, shrink down in size so you can email it to somebody? Well, what you do is this. In the file and save as dialog box, I'll just put this on the desktop again. There's a tool down here where you can compress pictures. Now you don't need to do this. For Blackboard, you can have a massive file and upload a massive file. That's fine. But just for your own information, like as you're trying to get things to, say, colleagues or a client or whatever, if you're trying to get a really big presentation squeezed down to a small size, you can compress the pictures through the tools here. You can pick different sizes, like you can compress it down to a smaller size for printing or just for the screen or for email. This email is the smallest one. Let's go with that one. And we'll call this Gym 2 because we have Gym on the desktop already. And then we'll close it. And let's take a look at the difference in size. So Gym 1 was 6.22 megabytes, and this one is down to 3.79 megabytes. Made a big difference. It's almost, you know, 2.5 megabytes in size. And so that's something, another tool that you can add into your toolkit as you work with this presentation software. So I think we've covered everything you need for this homework assignment. If you have any questions, let me know. But I look forward to seeing your reworked presentations. And thanks for your time and attention.